A beautiful evening to you and welcome to week of Sport Extra on Atlantic Television Network. My name is Emmanuel Michael. Glad to be here this evening to take you through some of the latest sporting news. And top on our menu this evening, National Institute for Sport commences establishment of zonal office. And in the world of handball, Andover Handball Phase 2 set to kick off in November. In the world of football, Orange Postecoglou shown the exit door. This and many more will be yours after this time out. Welcome back from that short break. This weekend edition of the show, I have Kingsley here with me. Kingsley, good evening and welcome to weekend edition of Sport Extra.
Yeah, Mike, thank you very much, for having me. Nice to be here this weekend.
Nice to be here this weekend. Indeed, a whole lot of things happening in the sport this weekend, and of course, can tell you that a lot of big stories are making rounds this weekend. But then, let's start from the home scene before we dive straight to the rest of the world, because in order to promote a grassroots sport, talent development and youth engagement, the management of the National Institute for Sports has commenced the establishment of zonal offices across the 6 geopolitical zones. The management led by the Director General and Chief Executive Officer of the Institute, His Excellency Comrade Philip Shaibu, visited Ogun State Governor Dakwa Abiodun to brief him of the decision of the Institute to situate its southwest zonal office in Abeokuta. According to the immediate past Deputy Governor of Edo State, quoting him, he said, "My vision as the DG CEO of National Institute for Sport will bring back sport to what it used to be in Nigeria." I also talked about grassroots sport development and a whole lot of things. But Kingsley, the establishment of zonal offices across the 6 geopolitical zones by the National Institute for Sport, I think this is how we can be able to, of course, harness talent and bring them to one boat where we can be able to, of course, maximize the pool of talent across the nation.
Mike, let's just see, how this we continue to come up with innovations, here and there, as it stands. It's just for we to look at for means, that will make sure, of course, sports, get to another level in the country. This is another strategy, being put together. So we'll just see if, of course, it will yield fruits. At the end of the day, the National Sport Commission, the different sporting federation, they've been looking at means to take sports, of course, to another level. Maybe this is another strategy of seeing how, of course, take sports to another level. Not just opening offices in different zones in the aim of having that aim of course, nurturing talents, and all of that. But are there proper platforms for these talents to grow Are there proper facilities that the talent, of course, will use to train to keep themselves fit? Are there proper competitions, to say, at this point in time? These are things, of course, that we need to look at for. Maybe, probably before going this gesture, they have really considered, all of these things. I think for me, it's a good one. It's a new innovation. We'll just look forward to see, how all of this one, of course, will be, managed at the end of the day.
I'm just thinking about one thing, Kingsley. You see, whenever the National Sport Festival comes, calling or the National Youth Games, there is always, this lopsidedness or one-sidedness, activity and actions, where most time it's either the West or the South states get to rack up more medals compared to the Northwest or even the North Central. So with this idea to establish, the offices across the 6 geopolitical zones, so maybe
there to maybe give reports that where these offices have been established, at least, of course, it will help this, states, to see how to at least rub shoulders, with those, at the helm of affairs, to know what to do and how to, of course, to take sports to another level, in the state. So for me, I think it's a good one, but I still think the states still have a lot of work, of course, to do in terms of, taking sports, to another level. Talk about the northern states, of course, not putting up high level of performance in maybe some of the competition like the National Sport Festival, the National Games. It's all about their interests. Are they really particular, about sports? Are they really particular about basketball, or you say tennis and all of that? We've not really seen them, pull much, strength when it has to do with them, of course, maybe preparing themselves for such competition. And that's why, they've not been leaving us with this. Down here in the South, or you talk about the East or the West, you see them preparing. They have the best of sporting facilities, all right? They go out there, they look out for talents, they bring them, try to nurture them, make them, to train, to get fit, before heading down to the competition. But we've not really seen that, in the North. So it is an intentional thing. You have to be intentional. We're heading down to the National Sport Festival, right? What do we need to do? Was it the last time I think we had a National Sport Festival? The bus that was conveying was it Kano State Athlete or something, back, of course, after the game, concluded, had an issue. And they lost some of their athletes, all right, to say at this point in time. All of that, of course, is, preparation. How prepared, were they? Did they really take, the competition serious, and all of that? Or maybe they just want to go to make sure that, Kano State didn't miss out from this one. Or maybe Kaduna didn't miss out, from the National Youth Game. Of course, questions will come at the end of the day. Why is it that Kano State did not participate at the National Sports Festival? So maybe they want to avoid, all of that. So for me, I think it has to be intentional, when it has to do with, of course, them participating in the National Sports Festival. You won't say you wait for the National Sports Commission to come and tell you, are you ready? Are your athletes ready? Should we look for athletes for you? I don't think that, of course, that will be done. It is the state that will have to do the job. You come with your athlete and participate, and then the National Sports Commission will be the one to oversee their affairs and make sure that if there's any loopholes, they come in and solve the issue. So for me, yes, good one, but I think the states still have a lot of work to do in terms of athlete representation, welfare, and also provision of sporting facilities for the athletes to grow.
Still talking about the National Institute for Sport, Kingsley. Sometimes there are so many persons that mistaken it to be for the National Sports Commission, but this is a different body entirely. Can you take us through the core mandate of the National Institute for Sport, so that at least people sometimes who try to mistake these two function can get to understand the difference? What actually is the duty of a National Institute for Sports?
Yeah, for the National Institute of Sports, they are there, to train, all right, to train coaches.
Okay.
Not just football coaches this time. Yeah. It could be athletics, it could be basketball, it could be any other sport. Coaches go in there, to be trained and be certified, at the end of the day, and then they come back and be able to train, maybe their athletes, and all of that. So, and they're also there, for sports education. All right, to sensitize people on what to do, to make sure that, of course, they tend to organize a particular tournament or maybe put up, this anything sports, right? That's what it call. It's like a school.
Yeah.
All right, where coaches go down there, or maybe even athletes as well, going, to be sensitized, to be properly educated, to manage any sporting affairs, and all of that. The National Sport Commission. They're just like the sports ministry.
Yeah.
And don't forget, the sports ministry was just being taken away. Was a few years ago, and then they brought in the National Sport Commission back. They are the sports ministry. They oversee the affairs of the different sporting federation.
Yeah.
All right, including the Nigeria Football Federation. All right, so they are there to maybe help conduct elections for the federation, and if the federation, of course, have any issue, you can run to the National Sport Commission. This is the issue we're going through. We need help, and all of that. So Shehu Dike is just like the sports minister, although he's the chairman of the National Sport Commission. So he's there to make sure that there are no loopholes. You want to organize, maybe a state wants to organize a National Sport Festival. Shehu Dike has to give consent. So say maybe Akwa Ibom or whichever state, of course, is there, to manage or maybe host the National Sport Festival. He has to give his consent to make sure that everything, of course, is okay. If the National Sport Festival, if the state fails in hosting the National Sport Festival properly, the chairman of the National Sport Commission as well will also give account what really happened, because you were supposed to be there to know what was going on. I think in 2020, was it Edo State wanted to hold the National Sport Festival? They didn't have fund because of, I think, COVID or something. So they have to go back to the government and ask them, the sport ministers are then, what should we do? We don't have money to host this thing. Please help us. It was a drama, but government now told them, go and use whatever you have and host. And then when you're done, we'll pay you. I think that issue has been known for some time now. That money has not been paid, to Ogun State. So these are things that, of course, we have to consider at this point in time. National Sport Commission, they're there to oversee the affairs of the different sporting federations in the country. Why? The National Sporting Institute, of course, they are there to make sure that they sensitize and also produce certified, coaches that, of course, will be able to instruct, educate the athlete, put them in a proper shape, let them know what they're supposed to, what they will meet, of course, or what they have to encounter, in future. And of course, at the end of the day, that's how, it's being groomed. So they're a different body, entirely.
Different body entirely working separately from one another. The National Institute for Sport, they are there to train, educate, certify coaches on what to do at a certain point in time about a different sporting strata, be it football, be it athletics, basketball, volleyball, karate, taekwondo, name it. So they are a different body. Now you know the difference between the National Institute for Sport and, of course, the National Sport Commission. These are two different bodies. Sometimes the National Institute for Sport can also give you advice on the kind of diet you need to take as an athlete. So this is the sole responsibility of the National Institute for Sport, so that you don't confuse it. I had to dig deep of Kingsley to ask this question, because I bumped into my social media handle, and a certain sport enthusiast was asking, what is the National Institute for Sport is doing whenever there is a controversy? They don't always come up to say anything. And I said, okay, you just need to, listen today. We'll do it to properly educate you. And of course, you've done, justice to that very topic, the disparity and the functionality of these two institutes. They are separate body, but then they are also, within the business of sport activity. Away from that, let's talk about handball on the show, because the second phase of the Andover Handball Premier League 2025 will be held from November 25th to December 7th, 2025 in Lagos. According to a statement signed by the General Secretary of the Handball Federation of Nigeria, Monica Otumala, on Friday, the competition will be staged at the indoor sport hall of the National Institute of Sport inside the National Stadium, Surulere, and the Rowe Park Sports Center, Yaba. Teams are expected to arrive in Lagos on Tuesday, November 25th, for the technical meeting while matches begin the next day through to December 6th, when the winner will be unveiled. In the men's category, safety shooters are not on top, rather, of the table with 28 points with a massive plus 91 goal difference, while course shooters are in second position with 28 points but lesser goal difference of plus 50. In the women's category, five-time champion and defending champions, Safety Babes are leading the pack with 21 points, having won all her matches, while Rema Queens of Sokoto are also occupying second position with 19 points. So the second phase of the Andover handball is set to kick off in November, and of course we've seen some teams that are also doing great things. I want to take a look at the Andover handball. It seems to be one aspect of the sport that they are very quiet, but gradually it looks as though their timetable is always very, very harmonized. You don't get to hear any confusion. You see that the first phase comes to a conclusion, all teams go back to their nest and begin to prepare for the second phase. For me, it looks as though they've been able to organize themselves properly, and we never had any issue of match fixtures or even some teams pulling out courtesy of later preparation.
Yeah, of course. I think it's been fantastic. Talking about the handball game or federation, I think they've been very, very fantastic. They've been doing so well. They're one of the federation that are very, very consistent. When you take a look at tournament organization, and all of that, you hardly see them not having a tournament in a year. And that's how, of course, it is. And you take a look at it, if maybe the basketball federation are also doing the same, I think that will also help basketball to revive, in the country. You ask yourself, taking a look at the way basketball has been very shaky, how many persons, how many people you see, have much interest in basketball, because when you know that going into basketball, you tend to struggle. The league is not always consistent, and all of that. Players are always match rusty. The home-based players do not even stand a chance when to be picked, in the national team due to the fact that they are not living up to expectation. But for the handball, you see them playing in and out. So of course, anytime, any day, if maybe there is a international competition, definitely players will be picked with ease because they have been consistent. And kudos must be given to the president of the federation, who has been working tirelessly to make sure that they are always up there, doing something great. I think that's the federation that needs to be commended, for maintaining high level of consistency. And not just that, they also have sponsors. Yeah, that's the thing. They have sponsors. As it stands, I think they were actually being sponsored by a particular energy company. Yeah. And now they also have, So for me, that's what we need. If all of the federations, sporting federation we have in the country have sponsors, we'll not be hearing this issue of, we wanted to go for a particular tournament and there was no money, and that's why we stayed back. We told the athletes to go and tell their parents to contribute money so that they will go, who can go execute the tournament. It's embarrassing. So I think if these different president of these different sports federations can do their job properly, go out there, organize a marketing team and see how you can sell the sports, and be able to make a lot of money at the end of it. It will even give you that opportunity of even trying to get some of the facilities for the athletes, of course, to train, and they put themselves in a proper shape. So, impressive one for the Handball Federation. We'll just hope that they continue with this impressive fashion.
Impressive organization from the Handball Federation. This is one federation in the sporting parastatal of Nigeria that have been very consistent and very dedicated, and they never cry for positive or fun, because you see them being very consistent and reliable, trustworthy with their partners over the course of the year. And the kudos must also be given to the president, just like you heard from Kingsley. Away from that, Nigerian powerlifter Folashade Oluwafemi has set her sights on winning the 2025 World Powerlifting Championship in Cairo, Egypt, title with Team Nigeria after breaking her own world record at the tournament. The four-time world champion lifted 168 kg in the women's over 68 kg category to surpass her previous mark of 167 kg set at the Paris 2024 Paralympic Games, securing double gold in the total lift and best lift event. China's Wen Jun claimed silver with a 157 kg lift, while Iran's Niko Zobani took bronze with a 152 kg. Speaking in an interview shared by the National Sport Commission, the 40-year-old expressed gratitude for the support that she has received so far. So, Kingsley, not too many people were even aware of the age of Folashade. At 40, she's still breaking record and setting record.
Yeah.
This is one consistent para-athlete for Nigeria that I think deserve a special honor. Or don't you think so?
Definitely. She really deserves a special honor. At 40, despite all she has gone through, understand, I think she was pregnant, something, a whole lot, has been around for Folashade. She has actually gone through a lot. But she's still very much, active. She came back and was able to put up that impressive performance in Egypt. And for me, I tell you, just like you mentioned, Mike, she should be honored. We've been talking about, proper welfare, and all of that. Like I told you the other day, these are athletes that we should be, placed on salary.
True.
Yes, place
True.
them on salary. These are athletes, that do not have what it takes, to move around, and all of that, just like that. So they have to be properly taken care of. But if you take a look at it, like we talked about the other day, the para-athletes have really shown much progress, over the years. And for me, I feel that they should be placed on salary because it's not always that easy. Sometimes to take care of themselves, sometimes is an issue.
True.
How many times, do they go out, for competition? All right. They only, most of the time, represent the nation. It's not that they have a club there, they say you'll be going to lift those and all of that. So the only way when there is a national, a global competition that Nigeria will have to go participate, that is when they come out, as a stand to be able to put up, put up a good performance, just like we saw in Cairo. So for me, I think they should be placed, on salary. I think, was it 3 or 4 years ago, some of them were even complaining that they find it difficult, to train due to the fact that, they don't have what it takes, all right? They don't have money. Some even have to leave the sport to go look for something to do so that they can earn a living. If I can really remember that name of that athlete, we had a lot. So for me, I think the government should look into it. This is where the National Sport Commission comes in. Take a look at those that have put up a very impressive performance over the years. Place them on salary, pay them, so that they can, of course, be motivated. It is not easy for someone in this condition to come put up that level of performance, lifting something very, very heavy, as it stands. So for me, I think there's a lot that needs to be done. Kudos to Folashade. We just hope that, she'll continue to be a source of inspiration, of course, to so many, because at this age and with the condition, around her, she's still not aligned those things or whatever it is, of course, to weigh her down. She keep on, pushing. I think for me, is a good one. And talking about honor, yes, she really, really deserves, to be honored.
I tell you, the para-athletes, especially for Folashade, they need to be truly honored because take a look at the trajectory of achievement compared to that of their able-body counterpart. It is nothing near what they've achieved for the country. The para-athletes of Nigeria, they have won a record 87 medals in all, which include 42 gold, 22 silver, and 23 bronze, which is a far cry to what their able-bodied counterpart has won. In all, their able-bodied counterpart has just won 27 medals in all. But the para-athletes, 87 medals, which include 42 gold. So I tell you, they truly need to be placed on a monthly salaries. Some of these able-bodied athletes, they have clubs in Europe where after off-season, you see them doing something great for themselves. They still earn from here and there. But then for these disabled-bodied athletes that have been doing us proud, it's a difficult one for them. So I think I tend to align with the thought of Kingsley that they truly need to be placed on monthly allowance. Proper care should be given to these special athletes who have been doing the nation proud over the course of the year. I mean, Kingsley, I nearly shed tears when, she was telling a story. I watched a certain interview where she was telling a story on how, hard it took her, the pain that she went through during the course of her pregnancy and all of that. But she said that just a few persons that came to her aid to tell her, well done. The rest, not even the people that she least expected that will abandon her, did not even show up. And this is very devastating story.
It's very, very devastating, Mike. Very disappointing. And that's why we're talking about, but the thing that pains me the most is that whenever we need them, we go and look for them.
True.
But at the end of the day, after they've finished representing the country, won those medals, that's all. It's not good. And I think for me, Shehu Diko, he shouldn't just be there saying he wants to host this, host that. Yes, that's the thing. Because since he came, he's been pushing so much in hosting Commonwealth Games, Formula One and all of that. That's not what we're after. Those people that are even doing well, what are we doing? What are the plans to make sure that we take care of them? Fola Sode is now 40. Very soon she will retire because you won't expect her to keep on pushing. The strength probably might drop. And all of that. What are we doing to see that? Okay, these people after retirement do not come to suffer. That's the thing, because they are special athletes. They don't have what it takes in terms of mobility, and all of that. It will be difficult. So you have to prepare a way for them where they can, possibly find their way through, after retirement. Even when they are competing, what's the welfare? All right. So for me, it's really not, of course, a good one. The way we've gone about in terms of managing or probably taking care of our special athletes. It has not really been that fantastic. So I just hope that Shehu Diko will try most kind to see what they can do to make sure that they at least, like we mentioned earlier, place them on monthly allowance, or see what you could do to make sure that these athletes are properly taken care of down here in the country.
We hope that the authorities are listening, because if we were to be the able-bodied counterpart that have broken this record and won multiple titles for the country, by now we should be hearing of a national honor confinement on such an athlete. But none. This is a global performer who has been consistent, breaking record, not just local record, world record. Yet nobody is talking about conferring her with a national honor. These are things that we need to also take a deep breath and think twice on how we can better the life and the welfare of our para athletes rather. But at this point, let's take a quick break. When we are back, we'll dive straight to the world of football. We tell you so many happenings, because the Sky Blue boys will be in action this weekend in the CAF Champions League. Who are these Sky Blue boys? We'll get to let you know. And a big manager has been shown the exit door. Who is that? We'll let you know when we are back from this short break. Don't go anywhere.
Oh, what a point to end it on. So now this is when they're at their best. That's when they're
right, you're welcome back rather to Sport Extra on Atlantic Television Network. Let's talk football on the show because the senior women's team, the Super Falcons, are set to stop their counterpart from Benin Republic from reaching the Women's African Cup of Nations after the Super Eagles also stopped their males team from reaching the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Both West African neighbors clash in the final qualifying fixtures for the 2026 Women African Cup of Nations championship to be hosted by Morocco, which serves as Africa's qualifying tournament for the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup Finals to be hosted by Brazil. 10-time champion Nigeria are the overdogs in this fixture by country mile. For both encounters, starting with the first leg at the Stade Kegu Lomé in Benin Republic. In that very much, Nigeria's head coach talking about Justin Madugu has called up 21 players, including 3 goalkeepers, 7 defenders, 5 midfielders, and 6 forward. They include Captain Rashidat Ajibade, who was voted player of the tournament at this year's Women AFCON in Morocco that Nigeria won, and who also on Thursday night scored her new club's goal, that's Paris Saint-Germain, in the Women's UEFA Champions League clash with Real Madrid, as well as goalkeeper Chiamaka Nnadozie, Africa's goalkeeper of the year for 2 years running. Also in the shortlist include defender Michelle Alozie, Ashley Plumpton. Midfield include the likes of Jennifer Chejin and Deborah Abiodi, and forward Asisat Oshola, Chinwendu Ihezwe, and Folashade Ijamilusi. There are also Mexican-based defender Osenachio Hale, hard as nail midfielder Christy Uchebe, and forward Esther Okonkwo. The return leg is slated for the MKO Abiola Sport Complex at Abeokuta on Tuesday, 28th of October 2025. Kingsley is going to be another battle between the male team of Nigeria, that is the Super Falcons, and their Benin counterpart. Benin, there will be, ruin the injury inflicted upon them by the Super Eagles by smashing them 4-0. Their women counterpart might want to take a revenge against the Super Falcons, but take a look at the pedigree of both teams. You might just say, no, it is not possible. But in football, you cannot rule out, any upset at all.
Yeah, you cannot rule out any upset at all. But I think the Super Falcons are way ahead of the female team of Benin Republic. I don't see them coming up to say, okay, you did our male team this, and we were ready to do your female team this. I don't see that happening, in this particular one. We understand the fact that, yes, you don't have to underrate any team, but when you take a look at the quality of players in the Super Falcons team, you want to, of course, give them that opportunity of going ahead and getting, of course, the job done, against Benin Republic. It will be a very tough one. I see Super Falcons, of course, taking a look at the names, of course, you mentioned. I think they all have the qualities, they have the abilities, of course, to be able to get the job done under Justin Madugu. It's good now we now have a good Super Falcons team under Justin Madugu. They believe themselves, and of course they understand themselves, and as well as the coach as well. So I think that's a very good team that will be very, very difficult, to beat. Last time Morocco wanted to, of course, challenge them, but they came out and were able to get the job done. I think for me, we have a very solid team now, and it will be difficult for the female team of Benin Republic, to, of course, be able to maybe stand a chance against them.
It's going to be difficult for the Beninois female team to stand a chance against the Super Falcons, who are the reigning champion record, multiple winner of the AFCON. They have won it more than any other country. Let's talk about the senior national team, because the Super Falcons captain, talking about Rashidat Ajibade, alongside the goalkeeper Chiamaka Nnadozie, and the senior women's national team are among the nominees for the 2025 CAF Award, following their outstanding performances in the year under review. The Confederation of African Football, CAF, officially revealed the nominees for the women's category on Friday, with Nigeria players and the team dominating the shortlist across multiple categories. Ajibade has been nominated for the African Player of the Year award in that very regard, alongside her Super Falcons teammate Esther Okonkwo, who won the Woman of the Match award in the final of the 2024 Women African Cup of Nations in Morocco. Ajibade was voted the player of the tournament at the 2024 Women African Cup of Nations, where she was named the Women of the Match award 3 times as Nigeria went all the way to the final and lifted their 10th WAFCON title. The Paris Saint-Germain forward netted once again and provided 2 assists for coach Justin Madugu's side during the tournament, to, of course, become one of the star performers. So the Super Eagles players and team that have dominated the CAF award. You think with the dominance that we are seeing the Super Eagles, do you see them taking this dominance from within African region down to the global level?
Yes, I think they can. Take a look at what happened last time, in the FIFA World Cup, when we have the man, trying to remember his name now.
Randy Wardrum.
Yeah, Randy Wardrum, of course. We had a very impressive outing. Though, of course, we couldn't get past England. I think that was in round of 16. We had a very good outing. So I think with what Justin Madugu is currently doing with the side, I think they have what it takes, to take this dominance, from Africa down to the global scene. So I believe from what we're seeing on ground, the team, they now have that understanding. The girls are not just there to play for themselves. They are there to play, for the glory of the nation. They're there to, of course, make sure that, they redeem themselves back, as one of the best female team, of course, down here in Africa. So I think with that passion and unity and the synergy between them and the coach, possibly they can, of course, put up a very impressive performance at the global scene.
Talking about impressive performance at the global scene, the Super Eagles of Nigeria have climbed 4 spots to 41st in the latest FIFA Men's World Rankings, making a return to the top 5 football nation in Africa in that particular order. The ranking was released on Friday by FIFA, which marks a significant boost for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, which rose from 45th place following a strong performances in their 2026 World Cup qualifying campaign, where they scored 4 past Benin Republic. The 3-time African champion also moved ahead of Ivory Coast, now ranked 42 in the world. Nigeria's rise followed a 2-1 victory over Lesotho in Polokwane and a convincing 4-0 smashing of Benin Republic in Uyo, a result that should secure their last place continental playoff for the 2026 World Cup. So the Super Eagles, can see, it looks as though at this dying minute, everything is just working out in their favor.
That's why I told you earlier today that it's looking like a divine thing.
True.
For the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Trail has to, of course, withdraw. Calculations came up again, and they stood a chance. And at the end of the day, they were able to score 4 goals against Benin Republic, and just to get, out of the, continental playoff. And I think you just play a game, and then you are up there. So everything just working for them. And this ranking, of course, further boost their chances in the intercontinental stage, of the competition. So I think Super Eagles of Nigeria, luck has, of course, shown on them at this point. They shouldn't, take it for granted. They have to, of course, come out against Gabon and get the job done, of course, and see how they can qualify via the playoff, down to the World Cup. It's a good one, and of course, we cannot talk about all of these achievements and improvements without mentioning Eric Chell. I think he has done a good job, if you ask me, since he was appointed the coach of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. In the World Cup qualifiers, in some of the games, of course, we played, you must, of course, credit, Eric Chell for doing a good job. Despite the storm, he remained very calm and seen hand, of course, to put the team in order. And that's to tell you that should tell you that he's a good manager. He's not a manager when things are going wrong. He keeps on, saying so many things, just like, no disrespect, at this point in time, to Finidi. When Nigerians were coming at him, he was like, Nigerians should allow him do his job, and all of that, So I think Richel knows what it takes, to manage a team, and the qualities of players we have in the team. All right, you have to respect them for them to respect you. All right, so I think for me, if you take a look at that, Richel has really been, behind this improvement and behind this success, we've gotten so far. My prayer is let them just qualify, and of course, Richel, like I mentioned the other day on the platform, he is the man.
He is the man without mixing of any words at all. We can tell you that Richel input has been the determinant factor of how far the Super Eagles continue to improve on the ranking. Out of 6 World Cup games that he has played for the Super Eagles, he has won 4. Yes, 4 and drawn 2. Joseph Pizarro played 2 out of those World Cup and drew the 2. All right? Finidi George played 2, lost 1 and drew 1. So, no doubt, Eric Chel, the Franco-Malian, has been the brain behind the gradual progress we are seeing from the Super Eagles right now. We've seen them move from 45th to 41st as it is right now, climbing 4 places, courtesy of the impressive display in their last 2 games. All right, let's head straight to Europe, because we can tell you that Barcelona youngster Lamine Yamal has entered the list of top 10 players in the world for 2025. Lamine Yamal becomes the first 18-year-old footballer to enter Forbes' list in 22 years. The Spain international has an expected earning of £43 million after recently signing a 10-year contract. However, El Nassr's superstar Cristiano Ronaldo is still ranked the highest paid player in the world. Ronaldo's new 2-year contract sees him projected to earn the sum of £280 million in total earnings over the coming years before taxes and agents' fees. The Forbes ranking reflects on-field earnings estimated, including base salaries, bonuses, and club-based image rights agreement. Forbes top 10 highest paid players for 2025 is officially out, and Cristiano Ronaldo topped that list with a sum of £280 million. This is how much he earns. Lionel Messi sits in second position with £130 million. In third is Karim Benzema, £104 million, while Kylian Mbappe is in fourth with £95 million. In fifth position is Erling Haaland, £80 million, and sixth position we have Vinicius Junior, the sum of £60 million. Mohamed Salah of Egypt is there in the seventh position with £55 million, while eighth position we have Sadio Mane with £54 million. Jude Bellingham has £44 million and seated ninth, while Lamine Yamal completed the Forbes top 10 richest footballer with £43 million. So Kingsley, at this tender age, this young man or young boy is also making a big waves for himself in terms of financial, rack up, seated 10th on the log right now. At just the age of 17, when he turns to 25, maybe he's going to eclipse the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo.
Let's just see how it goes. But all we pray for Lamine Yamal is consistency. All right, he has to maintain high level of consistency, to achieve all of this, as it stands. So we understand how things has been. There's been a lot around Lamine Yamal, and that's why I talked about consistency. He has to stay away from some kind of distractions, that people have been talking about. He's very young, at 18 years of age. You see, there have been a lot of talk around him having a girlfriend, and all of that, clubbing. I think it's not really good for him, as a player. Not that he shouldn't maybe enjoy himself and all of that, but take it away from the camera. Because when things like this pop up, people say so many things that might not good for you emotionally or mentally, as a player. So you have to see how to stay fit, be consistent and disciplined, so that of course you'll be able to stand the test of time. Take a look at players like Ronaldo. Even when they were coming up, you won't hear them grooving, enjoying themselves so much, like so. Lionel Messi, and they were focused because they knew that they have to be disciplined to make sure they are fit, on the pitch of play. Today, I think maybe he's back and he was actually being injured. So for me, from what I've seen so far, I think Lamine Yamal should maintain high level of discipline. It's only discipline, that will take him, very, very high, in his career.
Discipline is a key word there out there for Lamine Yamal. Take yourself off the camera, focus, and allow the world to speak good of you, other than doing showboy in the camera, the poster boy out there. But let's talk about the English Premier League, because a big result and big announcement came through as a Chelsea Football Club were able to down Nottingham Forest 3 goals to nothing. And that defeat came with a lot of consequences. Kingsley, for Ange Postecoglou. Coglou had been glued out of Nottingham Forest. A bad outing for him. That is a short stint at Nottingham Forest.
Very sad, Mike. Very, very sad. If I knew, I would have told him not to go to Nottingham Forest. I'm telling you, it's very sad. Play 8 games, lost 6 and drew 2. He didn't get any win out of 8 games. Of course, he played this season with Nottingham Forest. I think it's a huge dent, to his managerial career. A huge dent, of course, to his CV. It's really, really, a poor one. And I don't know what will be of Ange Postecoglou going forward. At this point in time, will he get another club soon? That I don't really know at this point, but I tell you, it was really a very, very, ugly one at Nottingham Forest, of course, for him. And the players as well, they didn't live up to expectation. I was talking to Sam, I said, players sack coaches. Yes, players sack coaches. In a situation where a player is supposed to score a goal, and then he misses chances, he misses the chance. You have an opportunity to score a goal and defend your team, and you don't utilize it properly. And at the end of the day, the coach will be the one to be blamed. I watched the game between Nottingham Forest and Chelsea, and I blamed the players a lot. They didn't live up to expectation. They had chances where at least they would have scored at least 1 or 2 goals, but they missed the chances they had. So it's very, very disappointing. And tomorrow, one will say Postecoglou is not a good manager. All right, so I understand how things has been, but for me, it's a very, very disappointing one. I just hope that, of course, he gets a better, team to coach, going forward. And for Nottingham Forest, I think there is a very big issue. I understand how Nuno Espirito left. He had issues, of course, misunderstanding with the owner Marinakis, and now Postecoglou came, not being able to stabilize it. Who knows what is happening, inside the dressing room? Who knows what is happening in the hierarchy of the team and all of that? Maybe that's what is, affecting the side. All right. So I think for me, there's a lot that needs to be looked at, that we have to look at, for down there at Nottingham Forest. Could Marinakis be the problem? All right, or maybe it's a managerial issue, or the players not living up to expectation. I'm very sad that Ange Postecoglou was just sacked, in that manner.
Ange Postecoglou, one of the victims for this week after the international break. He goes home, yes, after that embarrassing defeat he suffered in the hand of Chelsea a few hours ago. So, courtesy of that poor result, he has been shown the exit door, but trust is going to receive his, sack payment in full. I can assure you of that. But then this is where we drop the anchor for this weekend edition of the show. But don't forget, before we leave, that Wilfred Ndidi has been named the vice captain for Besiktas. The Turkish giant made this known in a statement a few hours ago. But before we leave, our sport extraordinaire for this weekend edition goes to another person than the youngest Spanish teenager, Lamine Yamal. Because Yamal became the first 18-year-old footballer to enter into Forbes list as one of the top richest footballer in 22 years. So he is our sport extraordinaire for this weekend edition of the show. Kingsley, I want to thank you so much for giving us some of those incisive analysis.
Thank you so much, Mike.
All right, have a beautiful weekend as we say goodbye and see you on Monday.